Welcome to building a picture frame. For starters, I'm going to go over safety and some quick tips. I will not be doing the required tools. I'll just put that up on the screen. So some safety. Make sure you don't have any jewelry on. Always take that off. It can get caught in the machinery. Tuck in your hoodie strings or just take the hoodie off altogether because long sleeves are not good. They can get snagged, and if you're not paying attention, then you could very easily get caught up in the machine. If you have long hair, make sure it's tied up in a bun or just out of the way. Make sure it's tied back. You don't want it hanging down, as that can get caught in the machinery and pull you in. Be aware of where your hands are at. Always know where your hands are at. If it gets close to the blade, that's not good. You don't want to. The school's table saw is a specially designed table saw where if you touch the blade, it will trip or break and you won't cut yourself. But that doesn't go for miter saws and everything else. I even cut myself while sanding. Like, mistakes can be made. It's very easily to make mistakes. You're gonna want safety glasses for eye protection. Hearing protection, you're gonna want, don't do normal headphones because that's not blocking out any of the bad noises. It's really just adding to it because you're just playing louder music into your ears. So you're gonna want noise canceling headphones, earplugs, or earmuffs. I personally don't like gloves. I'm against them. They could get caught. You can't feel the wood as well. They just kind of get in the way. But if you're worried about cutting your hand on the wood, then I would only use them when sanding. Otherwise, you kind of need the dexterity of your hands. And then some quick tips I have before you get started is when using the table saw, listen for a high-pitched noise. That high-pitched noise can tell you if the blade is binding. If it binds, it could launch that back. Don't look at the blade is another thing. Always watch the fence. If you keep your wood tight to the fence, you can avoid that binding. And some just important notes to just remember while you're doing it. Measure twice and cut once is an important rule to live by. And you're not gonna make it perfectly. You're gonna make some mistakes. You just have to work through those mistakes, and a good woodworker is someone who can cover up those mistakes and still get the project done with it looking good, not avoid mistakes altogether. So let's get into building a picture frame. So now I'm measuring the width of the board as it's about to go through the planer. It's important to keep the wood tight to itself as it gives it support going through the planer. So this will get it down to, this takes some time, but it will get it down to the desired thickness that you want. And when I bring it over, you can see completely flat all the way across. They're all the same. Now I'm cutting all the pieces to length using the miter saw. This assures that it's a good square end on either side. Now that was me measuring how thick the piece is, and I set that to the half of the thickness, because now we have to take out the notch that will hold our picture frame together. So you're going to take that and you're just going to make sure it barely, the table saw just touches it, grazes it, and it's at the right height. You can do this using a tape measure. I chose to use a square, but either one will work. So now I'm setting it, and I'll take my piece over that I marked for how big I need my joint, and you're just going to line it up and clamp it down so that it's right at so that when you push it all the way against the fence, it'll take out the innermost part, and that way you can just back it off slowly and take out more and more material. You're going to want to use a miter gauge for this, as that will keep it square to everything and assure you a good clean joint. Now all my pieces are jointed out, so I'm doing a test fit and I'm going to measure my dimensions. I'm going for an 8x10 picture frame. So I test fit everything, just kind of rough. You don't have to square it all up, but just get it fairly close to the final product. Then you're going to take your measurements. You see I have 10, and then I'll have 8, and that's exactly what I'm going for. That's it clamped together after the gluing. And now time for sanding. Sanding can take a while. Make sure the sander is always moving, and you'll get those joints flattened out. You might have to remove larger globs of glue with a chisel, but it's good practice to wipe the bigger globs of glue off with like a wet, damp rag before you leave it for 24 hours to fully set. Now is for routing the inner profile of the picture frame. Always use a test piece. That's my number one tip for routing, is use a test piece that's the same thickness. That way you get the same result. So I used a test piece and I'm routing out the inside of the frame. You're always going to want to push against the rotation of the router, as if you don't, it's called a climb cut and it's very easy to lose control. So always push against the rotation of the router. Now I'm making a stand for it to dry with the oil overnight. So I'm taking a nailer. This is a brad nailer, and I'm just shooting like a whole bunch of nails through the board to make little pegs that it can sit on. This allows for good even airflow and a lot of surface area exposed to the air. As you can see, it fits. And now I'm using a rag to wipe on the oil. So to conclude that, I would like to talk about the test. So I had my friend Sage, who knew a little bit about using tools, but not a whole lot about woodworking. He made his picture frame, and it actually turned out really well. I was in the shop working on the video while he was working on his, so he was able to come over and just double check that everything was right, and he was doing it perfect. So I feel like my SOP is definitely very user friendly, and if you do it in tangent with the video, it'll go along very well. He had to clarify a couple times just about how to use a tool, but as I said, this is for beginner woodworkers and people with a little bit of knowledge, and he just had a little bit, so you can always Google how to use a tool, since I wasn't going over that in my SOP. But overall, it turned out really well, and that's how you build a picture frame.